It's Monday, April 15, and time for your Barbados Today evening news update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Members of the public turned in 32 firearms and 1,758 rounds of assorted ammunition during the one-week amnesty which expired at midnight on Saturday. Police Commissioner Tyrone Griffith announced the results at a press conference this evening. He told reporters the measure has served its purpose.
We are heightening our activity in relation to recovering these firearms, as well as to prevent them from entering our porous borders. So I would want to appeal to the public to give us their support in this effort. We need their information coming from them. We cannot operate on our own. It is for members of the public to assist us in wrestling this vicious spate of violent crime that we've had over the last 3.5 months. And so I'm appealing fervently to the public to come on board and assist us in keeping Barbados the wonderful island it has always been.
Commissioner Griffith says police have now intensified their efforts to get guns out of the hands of those responsible for the spate of gun violence plaguing the country. The strategy, he says, will be intelligence-driven and included the acquisition of 4 new sniffer dogs to be placed at the Bridgetown port.
As to the results, we got some 32 firearms, 1,758 rounds of assorted ammunition. As you see displayed, most of the firearms are small caliber weapons, quite ancient, and if you see the ammunition, you'll see that it's been around for some time. I think, though, that that in itself is some success in that these firearms, I'm sure the firearm expert would say to you, are very capable of firing ammunition and the ammunition that was there.
In other news, the new $3.50 bus fare went into effect today. Our Kareem Smith made the rounds and reports that not only was the traveling public feeling the impact of the increase, but drivers were already complaining about a decrease in passengers.
Monday marked the dawn of a new era for local transportation, in which commuters will now pay $3.50 per trip on local buses, minivans, and route taxis. However, many of them are asking for a 75% improvement in service, along with a 75% increase in bus fare.
I personally think that the $3.50 bus fare should be implemented as soon as we get more buses on the road, because personally it makes no sense we having to pay $3.50 and still it's no buses, so it's still not helping. We still have to wait. I get to Sergeant Street bus and I ain't here but for nearly 2 hours still waiting for a bus.
We still pay the cheaper bus fare throughout the Caribbean, but the real question is why it is that some of the private service vehicles have so much bundle on one route, and then they are not extending the route for the older routes, which Transport Board has extended the route over the years. Like for instance, the Sugar Hill vans are only allowed to go to Erie Hill. Then also introduced a 21 route, which is ourselves, which don't also cover Coffee Gully, Ginger Works, Chambereza, and still don't go into the Blackmans. So it just feels like a disadvantage and not having a service for the increase.
Members of the public have also continued to secure support from some public service vehicle operators who say they have already started seeing a fall-off in ridership from as early as Monday morning.
Right now, $3.50 too steep. It should be $3. That's the honest truth. And the school children should be at least $2.50. You know what I mean? Because right now, a lot of people walking. I see a lot of women walking out in the morning in the shoes. Ain't one catch a van to come downtown and what's not. So right now, $3 is great.
For some other stakeholders, however, the increase couldn't come soon enough.
What the Prime Minister is doing, she's doing properly. Because we never had a raise yet. So if we get 350, nothing wrong with 350. Drake's gone up, Saudi gone up, everything gone up, and there's nothing wrong with 350. Part for buses, owners gone up, tires gone up. 350 it's just like you take a 350 and go buy a box beer or a drink or something, right? But I'm saying she didn't do that with the bus fare. And she left the bus fare at $2. A lot of people would have gone home and stay going all it now.
PSV operators have vowed to improve their service to the public, their general deportment, and overall behavior on the roads. Meanwhile, General Manager of the Transport Board, Felicia Sue, has given the assurance that efforts are underway to increase the Transport Board's ailing fleet. It's all part of efforts to provide a much improved service to Barbadians who feel like they're paying more but getting less in return. Kareem Smith for Barbados Today.
80-year-old Beulah Chapman is trying to come to grips with the death of her 64-year-old son, Rodolph Chapman. Chapman, a fisherman from Danesbury, Blackrock, St. Michael, died aboard the fishing vessel Vibut 3 last Saturday. His mother, who's still mourning the loss of another son earlier this year, tells Barbados Today she was shocked when she got word that her son had died 80 miles off the southern point of Barbados.
I feel very, very sad to know that now Barry one there in February, and now this one now in April. So I can try and ask God to help me and keep me with the others, and I feel like I will push through. Rudolph is nice child. All of my boys and girls are nice children, because I bring them up in the right way. I tell them from early, if they walk out and look for trouble, that I'm at it themselves, try and behave themselves, and if anything happens, what interfere with them, I there for them. Let them interfere with anybody, they will have to bat themselves. And then never get in trouble.
A fond farewell for broadcaster, communications and advertising expert of Yoma Ali, whose life was celebrated today. Family and friends, as well as the media and business community, remembered the 39-year-old Ali during a funeral service at Coleridge Memorial Gardens today. A popular voice on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM and a columnist of Barbados Today, Ali was remembered as a caring and loving person.
She loved people, and since she was a child, she always cared, especially for the disadvantaged. Let me just share something about her. She was just about 15, 14, high school, and her mother noticed that every day some item of food will be missing from the pantry. And there was many canned food. What could be happening? And eventually we questioned her. At first, no, of course, but I don't know. But then she confessed that she was taking this food every day for a child in her high school who was too poor to even have a meal.
A temporary suspension on the importation and licensing of remotely piloted aircraft systems, also known as drones, has been extended for another 12 months. This suspension has been in place since March 1, 2016. According to the Ministry of Tourism and International Transport, Cabinet also approved a temporary exemption on a case-by-case basis for drones which are imported and exported immediately after usage. The ministry says it is actively working on a new legislative framework to regulate the usage of drones and to integrate them into Barbados's national airspace system.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
On the regional scene, rescue teams in Trinidad on Monday continued their search at sea for 2 men after a fishing boat carrying 6 of them capsized at Carly Bay in the Gulf of Paria on Sunday. The men were on a fishing expedition when the vessel was hit by a wave. 2 of the men were able to swim to shore and notify authorities of the incident. Coast Guard, the Air Guard, as well as fishermen have been searching for the men. 2 of the bodies washed ashore at Orange Valley Freeport in west central Trinidad, but have not yet been identified. And finally, on the international front, a fast-moving fire consumed the world-famous Notre Dame Cathedral today in Paris. We get the details in this report from Reuters Television.
A massive fire burned through Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral Monday. Flames burst through the roof of the centuries-old cathedral and engulfed the iconic spire, which collapsed, quickly followed by the entire roof. But fire officials said the 2 towers of Notre Dame appeared to be safe. Still, there is risk that some of the interior structures could collapse, and firefighters would work overnight to cool them down and salvage priceless artworks and relics held inside the cathedral. It was still unclear what caused the blaze. Local media reported that police were treating it as an accident. All this as Parisians watched in horror as one of the city's crown jewels burned.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.